Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum. I'm just providing you a review on the exercises that you have done last week, which is on use case diagram. Yeah, I'm using Vedanti's solution just to go through the explanation with you. Okay, maybe the questions will be slightly different because it has been shuffled. Okay, the first question. Which of the following statement is true? Okay, actors are linked to use cases by communication association. Yes, if you can recall what use case diagram looks like, it has an actor, the stick people image. There's a line connecting with the use cases. Okay, normally, some books use arrows, some books does not. So, if it has arrows, it is only having only arrows without any description. Okay. The second option, actors are linked to use case by users. This the arrow is labeled with users. We don't write like that. Actors are linked to use cases by inheritance. No. But sometimes among the use cases is actors itself, you can show super actor, um, or show inheritance between actors, but not between actors and use cases. Right? Okay. Move on to the second question. Which of the following is not a reason for using prototyping during use case development? It's not. Okay. So to clarify requirement, it is used for by drawing prototyping is actually making the requirement better because you are drawing the screen, so the user having better understanding about what you are proposing to them. Get the user interface development started before the class diagrams began. Okay, so you have the sketches first before you actually do the sketching of the class diagram. So class diagram is where you thinking, okay, what is the data inside the class diagram, what class diagram involved, right? So the question is asking about not the reason. So to test the architectural significance use cases. Okay, architectural is having a different diagram, which is a deployment diagram, which you will learn later on. Okay, moving to the third question. Which of the following is true? Okay, it shows here. And include dependency means that the functionality of one use case always include the functionality of another at a particular point of time. Okay. Among the use cases, you can actually have dependency um, relationship, okay, which is labeled with include. Um, stop this for a while, just to allow to show you the diagram. Pause this for a while. I'll bring back. Okay, I could not show it here. Right, basically, include means if you have two use cases, you have include relationship, meaning that both of the let me show it in the form of okay, include means that I would like to apologize because I thought of sharing the image, but I could not show it through this video. Include means the functionality of one use case always include the functionality of another. This is the easiest to remember about this is use cases that you use. For example, before you use a system, you normally log in first, right? That kind of relationship between that two use cases is actually referring to include dependencies, right? Right. Include does not mean inherit. Okay, inherit using a different kind of relationship. It is inheritance. Include dependencies mean the functionality of one use case optionally include. Okay, if there are two use cases and the relationship between them is optional, that does not mean it's include. It's actually extend. Okay, right? Which of this question four? Which of the following is true? Okay, this is the one that I mentioned. Extend. Extend relationship means that the functionality of one use case always extend the functionality of another at particular point of time. Okay, where's the option B? An extend relationship means that the functionality of one use case inherit the functionality of another. Extend relationship means that the functionality of one use case optionally extend. Oh, okay. I'm the one who did this wrong. Okay, answer C is actually right. You're actually right. So C is right. Uh, the question that the answer that I said is actually wrong. Okay, for this question, C is right. Okay, I'll fix that later. All right. Given a diagram like this, which is of the following, describe the figure below. Okay. Okay. What your answer is? Print, campaign, summary, extend, check, campaign budget. Okay. So the answer is actually the other way around. Okay. If it's an extend relationship, when you read it, do not follow the arrow like that. So you should be reading it. The main use case is actually this: check campaign budget. Print campaign summary is actually only an extension or it's an optional process. Meaning that when you check campaign budget, sometimes you want to print. It is an optional process. So don't get confused with reading the arrow. Following the arrow is actually the other way around. Okay. Which of the following is the best definition of actor? Okay, actor is represent a user of the system. Okay, not necessarily only referring to people. Okay, it's also referring to another system or other devices. Okay, so B is the answer. Okay, which of the following? What is shown in the following diagram? Okay, so if you see this kind of arrow, it means inheritance. Okay, it means that this is the main user, which is the campaign staff. Underneath it, you can have campaign manager, campaign clerk, campaign trainer, or so on. Okay, so this is actually an icon or a symbol used to represent inheritance. Okay, inheritance means there is a super actor and below it is a sub actor. Right? A UML diagram that facilitates requirement gathering and interacts between system and external user is called a sequence diagram. Okay, this one is I haven't taught you yet a sequence diagram, right? So a UML diagram that facilitates requirement gathering and interacts between system and external user is actually a use case diagram, not a sequence diagram. Okay. Sequence diagram later on is used to represent your analysis and design. Okay, the actual requirement gathering is the what when you actually collect the information. So that is when you use case diagram and use case specification. Right? Okay. I'll stop here. Inshallah, I will fix this question here, the one that which I wrongly said the solution. Okay, this one here. Okay, I'll fix it later. All right. Thank you for your attention.